The average American man reaches 55 with about $185,000 saved for retirement. To retire comfortably, he needs closer to $1.5 million. That's not the worst case, that's the median. Half of men his age have saved even less than that, and nearly 1 in 3 Americans has saved nothing at all. And here's the part that makes that number genuinely disorienting. He earns more today than he has at any point in his life. He owns his home. He takes the family somewhere every summer. His job title sounds impressive when he says it out loud. He is completely convinced he's fine. That conviction is the trap. The danger was never being visibly broke, it's looking successful, while the hole underneath you gets quietly deeper every single month. There's a very specific kind of financial damage that happens to men in their 40s, and almost nobody sees it coming, because it doesn't look like damage, it looks like achievement. Underneath it, in a way that never shows up on a single statement your bank sends you, your 40s are the decade that quietly decides whether you retire with real choices or no choices at all. Not because you're careless with money, because you're doing well, and doing well has a shape that slowly eats the retirement you assumed was coming. But here's what almost nobody tells the men who need to hear it most. If you're hearing this in your 40s, you are still standing at the one point where this is completely reversible. The men trapped at 55 would give anything to be where you are right now. So by the end of this video, you'll know the 4 financial traps that decide which way your retirement goes, the exact dollar figures behind each one, and the single number you can calculate this week that tells you which of these 2 men you're becoming. Because 2 men can start their 40s in almost the same position, same salary, same house, same comfortable life, and end up in completely different worlds. This is the story of Daniel and Richard, both 44, both earning $90,000 a year. One of them is about to notice something, the other one won't until the window has already closed.
Let me make this concrete, because the trap only becomes real when you see the actual numbers. Meet Richard, 44 years old, operations manager at a mid-sized distribution company. He earns $90,000 a year, more than his father ever earned. More than Richard himself thought he'd earn back when he started out. By every visible measure, Richard has made it. Richard has a $2,200 monthly mortgage payment, including taxes and insurance, a $500 payment on a car he spent 2 decades earning the right to drive, 2 kids in activities, tutoring and travel sports that run close to $800 a month, a gym membership, a stack of subscriptions, and insurance premiums on things he's half forgotten he owns.
A family vacation every year that he puts on the card and pays down over the following months. After federal and state taxes on $90,000, Richard takes home roughly $5,600 a month. His fixed monthly obligations before he buys a single week of groceries run close to $5,100. Richard is living on the last $500 of his own paycheck every month, and he has no idea that's the number that decides his entire future. He isn't reckless, he isn't foolish, he is the product of 20 years of saying yes to individually sensible things, without ever once calculating what they added up to together. That $5,100 is Richard's floor, it's what his life costs him just to stand still. And here's the reversal most men miss. You think Richard's problem is that he doesn't earn enough. Richard's actual problem is that his spending has grown faster than his savings for 15 straight years. His income climbed, his wealth didn't. Those are 2 completely different things, and your 40s are the decade where the gap between them becomes impossible to ignore. Before I walk you through the 4 traps, I need to give you one idea that holds everything else together, and I want you to picture something specific. Picture an anchor. Not a small one, the heavy iron kind a ship drops over the side. Except this one is polished, gleaming, impressive, the kind of thing people can see from the dock and immediately understand what it took to build.
Your mortgage is one of these anchors. So is the car, the annual vacation, the image of the successful man you've spent 20 years building. Each one felt like an achievement the day you took it on, and anchors do exactly what they're designed to do, they hold you in place. That's fine, right up until the tide comes in.
When the layoff lands, when the health scare arrives, when the market falls in the wrong year, the anchor doesn't protect you. It holds you down while the water rises. The men who reach retirement with real money and real freedom are not the ones who collected the most impressive anchors. They're the ones who quietly cut a few of them loose while everyone else was still polishing theirs. Each of the 4 traps I'm about to show you is one of these anchors, one you probably don't recognize as one yet. That's exactly why they work. Let's start with the first. Quick note before we go on. Everything here is financial education, not personal advice. The numbers are illustrations to show you how their math works, not instructions for your specific situation. The first trap is the one that quietly starts everything else. Somewhere around 44 or 45, a shift happens in most men. The ambition of your 30s builds something, chase something, settles into something quieter. You stop asking what you could build and start protecting what you have. It feels responsible, and aimed at the wrong things. It's one of the most expensive shifts a man ever makes, because most men in their 40s aren't protecting wealth, they're protecting the appearance of it. And the appearance of wealth charges rent every single month. Here's the trap in its purest form. For 20 years you've been saying yes to reasonable sounding things, and every one of them passed the exact same test. Can I afford the monthly payment? Does the money clear the account? That's it, that's the whole test. And affordability defined that way tells you almost nothing about whether you're building wealth. It only tells you whether the money showed up this month. That's a cash flow question. Wealth is an entirely different one. Now let me put a real number on what this costs you. Suppose that from age 40 you had redirected just $500 a month, one modest obligation you never took on, into a low-cost index fund earning around 7% a year. By 65, that single decision would be worth roughly $425,000, not from earning more, from carrying one less anchor. That is the compound cost of a single reasonable yes you said 15 years ago and never looked at again. Daniel, the second man in our story, worked this out at 44. Richard never did, and that one difference is where their 2 futures begin to separate. The second trap is the one that turns a difficult situation into a permanent one, and almost nobody models it before it happens. You think the danger is not having enough saved. The real danger is what happens to whatever you've saved when the timing goes wrong. Here's how it works, in plain terms. Imagine you're approaching retirement with a nest egg you're quietly proud of. If the market grows steadily in the years just before and just after you stop working, everything unfolds the way the calculator promised. But now imagine the market falls sharply in the first year or 2 after you retire, and then recovers. On paper, the average return across your whole retirement still looks perfectly healthy, but you were drawing an income the entire time. Every month you took money out, you were selling a slice of your portfolio while it was downlocking in the loss over and over at the worst possible moment. 2 retirements with the exact same average return can end completely differently, purely because of the order the good and bad years arrived in. And the order is the one thing no standard projection shows you. This is not a theoretical worry. People who retired straight into the 2008 crash saw their accounts fall by nearly 40% at the precise moment they became dependent on them. The market recovered within a few years. Many of their portfolios never did because they were drawing down through the entire fall. Richard's plan, to the extent he has one, assumes a straight line upward. Daniel's assumes the worst year can land at the worst time, and is built to survive it. That single assumption is worth more than any clever investment either of them will ever pick. The third trap is the one that catches men squarely in their late 40s and 50s, and I've never once seen it fully accounted for in an ordinary financial plan. It's 3 pressures that arrive at almost the same time. Any one of them on its own is manageable. Together they're the reason I'll figure it out later quietly becomes I'm not sure I can ever afford to stop working. The first is aging parents. Right around your late 40s and 50s, the generation above you starts needing support, and often financial support. Medicare helps with some of it. It does not cover long-term care, which in the United States can run $5,000 to $7,000 a month. If a parent's savings run dry, that monthly gap doesn't disappear. It quietly lands on you, on top of everything you are already carrying. And here's the part most men don't see coming. It's rarely one parent. It's often 2, sometimes overlapping, sometimes sequential. Richard's mother needed assisted living for 3 years before she passed. That ran close to $6,000 a month. His father needed in-home care for 2 years after that, another $4,000 a month. Richard covered the gap. He had no choice. He also had no plan for it, which meant it came directly out of the money he'd been quietly telling himself he'd invest next year. Next year never arrived. The second pressure is grown children, specifically the cost of launching them. College, the first apartment, the wedding, the help onto their feet. The average cost of 4 years at a private university now runs well past $200,000. If you haven't been aggressively saving since they were small, you cover that gap from current income, from your home's equity, or from your own retirement savings. Every one of those has a real cost most men don't feel until they're already paying it. Daniel had been putting away $500 a month into a dedicated college fund since each of his children turned 3. By the time they needed it, the money was there. Richard had meant to start something similar. Life kept getting in the way. When the tuition bills arrived, Richard refinanced his home to cover them. He told himself he'd pay it back quickly. He hasn't yet. The third, and I'll say it plainly, because most channels won't, is late divorce. Grey divorce, meaning divorce after 50, has doubled since the 1990s, and now accounts for more than 1 in 4 divorces.
Separating in your 50s is not the same as separating in your 30s. In your 30s, you divide what you've started to build. In your 50s, you divide everything you spent your entire adult life building the retirement accounts, the house. All of it at the exact moment your judgment is under the most strain it's ever been.
The average grey divorce reduces each person's wealth by roughly 50%. On a retirement balance that was already short, that's not a setback. That's the end of the plan entirely. Richard has none of this priced in, not one line of it. Daniel has looked each one in the eye and left room for it. A separate emergency buffer college account started early, a prenuptial agreement that protected both parties clearly. And when even one of these lands, as it almost always does, that room is the difference between a setback and a catastrophe. The fourth trap is the one nobody wants to look at directly, because it isn't about money at all. It's about identity. By your 40s, you're known as something. The manager, the provider, the man whose life visibly works. That identity is real, and it earned you real money. But maintaining the appearance of it turns out to be one of the most expensive things you'll ever do, and there's no statement anywhere that shows you the bill. The neighborhood you live in signals your standing. The car in the driveway signals it. The vacation you mention in passing, the school, the watch every one, is a quiet fee you pay to keep the signal lit. And unlike every other cost in your life, nobody is ever required to show you what it adds up to over 20 years. Here's what makes this trap different from the others. The lifestyle creep trap is about saying yes too often. The timing trap is about bad luck at the wrong moment. This trap is about something deeper. It's about who you've decided you are, and how much it costs to keep being that person every single month. Most men in their 40s have built an identity that costs more than they earn, not because they're vain, because the identity was built gradually, one reasonable decision at a time, and nobody ever showed them the running total. The house in the right neighborhood, $300 a month more than the house 1 town over. The car that matches the job title, $400 a month more than the reliable used car that would have done the same job. The private school the kids attend because it's what people in your position do, $800 a month. The club membership, the right brands. The holidays that photograph well, another $400 to $500 a month across the year. Add it up and Richard is spending close to $2,000 a month maintaining a signal, not living, not enjoying. Signaling, $2,000 a month redirected from age 40 into a low-cost index fund at 7% would be worth just over $1 million by 65. Richard didn't invest it. He spent it on being seen as the kind of man who had already made it. So let me show you where that leaves our two men. Same starting point at 44, same $90,000 a year. Richard maintained the full picture, the right car, the right vacations, the lifestyle that looked exactly like success. Each individual choice felt justified on its own.
He was also quietly covering the gap between his income and his lifestyle with a little credit here and there, without ever fully admitting the gap was there. By his mid-50s, on the same salary, Richard has built a retirement balance of around $185,000 right at the national median, and very little he could actually reach without selling the life he built. Daniel made different choices, not painful ones, deliberate ones. A used car he owned outright. A good neighbourhood, not the most expensive one. One good vacation instead of 3 visible ones. And from 44, he redirected the difference, a few $100s a month, into low-cost index funds and maxed his retirement accounts the moment he could, and simply left it alone.
By his mid-50s, on the exact same salary, Daniel has built a balance north of $1.1 million. Same income, same decade, same 2 men who started in the same place. One bought approval, the other bought options. And here's the hardest part of Richard's story he knows. He can see exactly what happened. He just couldn't stop while it was happening, because every single decision felt reasonable in the moment. That's not weakness, that is exactly how the trap is built.
So here's what you actually do with all of these 3 specific things, not vague ones. And you can start the first one today. First, calculate your own burn rate this week. Not next month, this week. Open your banking app and add up every fixed obligation you have, mortgage or rent, car, insurance, subscriptions, anything that leaves automatically. That sum is your floor.
It's what your life costs you to stand still. If it's more than 60% of your take-home pay, you don't have a discipline problem, you have a structural one. And budgeting doesn't fix structural problems. Removing one anchor does. You already know which one. Second, stress test your retirement against a bad year at the wrong time. Don't assume a smooth climb. Ask what happens if the market falls hard the year you stop working. If your plan only survives a straight line upward, it isn't a plan, it's a hope with a spreadsheet wrapped around it. Third, audit every fee you're paying to manage your money this quarter. Advisory fees, fund expense ratios, anything you pay for financial management, small percentages, compounded over 15 years on a serious balance, quietly cost you tens of thousands of dollars. It leaves in amounts too small to notice. That's exactly why you have to go looking for it. If you want a head start on the first one, I've built a simple tool for exactly this. It's linked below, and it does the burn rate math for you, so you can see your floor in about 10 minutes.
Here's where our 2 men end up. Richard is 55. On paper, his life still looks like success: the house, the car, the title. Underneath it, he has a balance that won't carry him, a lifestyle he can't easily unwind, and a growing certainty that he'll be working long past the age he once assumed he'd be free. He did everything he was told was right. That's the cruelest part.
Nobody warned him that doing well, unexamined, was the danger. Daniel is the same age, on the same salary he's always had. He drives a car that doesn't impress anyone. His vacations are quieter. And he is on track to stop working with real money and real choices, because at 44 he did the one thing Richard didn't. He ran the numbers, he found his anchors, and he had the nerve to cut a few of them loose while everyone around him was still polishing theirs. The distance between these 2 men was never their income, it was never luck, or the market, or the economy. It was a handful of decisions made in their 40s that felt small at the time and turned out to decide everything. You are standing where they stood. The window between where you are right now and the day you'd like to stop working is not as wide as it feels, but it is real. And it is still open, and it is yours. Nobody is going to warn you it's closing, so consider this the warning nobody gave Richard. If this landed, do 2 quick things. Subscribe, because the algorithm only keeps showing you videos that tell you what's actually happening to your money if you tell it to. That's the whole mechanism, and it takes 1 tap. And take the first step while it's fresh. The burn rate tool linked below does the math from this video for you. Open it, add your fixed costs,
and you'll see your floor in about 10 minutes. That single number is where every one of these traps either catches you or doesn't. I'll see you in the next one.